How exciting. I am just checking my mic is on. I am live. All right. Well, this is something a little bit different. And you know what? It actually breaks up the rhythm of the videos that I share and post. And I have to say, the reason why I wanted to change it up just a little bit is because we have so many cool conversations on this channel. I just want to say thank you so much for all of you guys that are just so interactive with the back and forth. You know, I like a good chat and the chin wag. And everybody's like sharing their process and asking questions and even commenting on each other's posts and comments and everything like that. And I just think that's kind of rad and that's kind of cool. And you know, at the end of the day, it's all about community and just building this space so we can just build our confidence and kind of start to tap into our highest timeline. I mean, that's what it's all about ultimately, even though some days it is like the Marie show. But anyway, whatever. In my mind, it's always the Marie show. So welcome. Here we are on the lives and the question and answers. So, you know, because we have a lot of talking back and forth, I just thought it'd be a great way to actually give you guys a chance to pop any questions on the posts, because I'll always prompt you for that, or anything in the comments. I make a note of it in my little diary here. And then I get to kind of talk about it in length because, you know, I'm just going with what I'm feeling like, from moment to moment and everything like that. But it's even more assistive and helpful if you guys can say, well, can you tell me about this, please, rather than just like listening to my subject matters or whatever. So do feel free to post your questions, because I will just pop it into my diary, as I say, and then we can like make this the part of the live. You know what I mean? So this is your question and answers, as well as what's going on energetically, because you know how I love to share my energy updates. This is kind of like going to give me a chance to get a bit more interactive with it. And I'm always a lover of doing a chit chat and all that kind of stuff, and then doing some kind of meditation and activation at the end. For those of you that are new to my channel, please go to the Get Activated Meditations, because there's like a whole bevy of them there. And that's my jam, really. I mean, it's such a shame we all don't live down the road from each other, because we'd be sitting at my house sipping cacao and I'd be banging my drums there, and we'd be having a right old journey time, but that is what that is all about: going into the frequency, receiving the codes and activating and having your own experience with it, because that's what my work's all about. Empowerment. Don't take my word for it. Get in there and kind of like feel it for yourself and come up with what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. And that's very much part of this kind of like energy update. I'll kind of open up with this is, what are you feeling? You know what I mean? Because this is about you making that call yourself. And what I mean by that is the energy that as we're moving into with all the planetary shifts. It's Aquarius month, but it's also the golden age of Aquarius. It's all about coming in and bringing your unique self into the fold now. Okay. So really, really allowing, like, what you have, what you got going on there has got value. Your words have got value. Your encodements have massive value, because we need you on this mission, this movement that I'm on. I mean, the Tablets of Light tour, which I've created especially for the conscious creators that want to get active and activate their hecker. We're the New Earth architects. You may not think so, but you have a whole secret plan inside of you there that is now coming out for you to share with the world and connect with beings like me, because I'm your soul fam. Well, you might not think so. Perhaps I am, perhaps I'm not. But you know what I'm saying? Those that you vibe with, it's time to come together now and like unlock that. So this is why my mission on YouTube, on everything that I do, everything that I share, is to bring us into remembering who we are. So when we go to Egypt, it's not just my teachings and you're sat listening to me and going, that's nice and lovely. That is about me taking you to the temple so you can experience what that energy jolt feels like when you put your hands on the hieroglyphs. Or if you've got something coming through, it's like I step back and hold the space so you can experience your frequency and your gifts being shown to you, perhaps for the very, very first time when you're stood in the temples of Egypt. Because there's no good you coming with me and you going, oh, I'm feeling a flutter, and you don't allow it to come out in those environments. I'm not one here to hog the limelight. We're all supposed to be sharing the limelight together. So this is what it's all about. So these planetary shifts, these things that we've got going on, like recently, as in I call it the triple whammy: the Pluto coming into our zodiacs, then the full moon in Leo, and then Uranus going direct, whichever way you want to say it. All of these things are kind of like forcing us, throwing us into the center stage to bring our uniqueness online. Can't keep it held underneath anymore. And what you might be feeling and experiencing, many, many different layers of that, actually: frustration, anger, resentment, You may be feeling physically sick. You may be feeling all of these different kind of experiences of resistance, because it means just one thing and one thing only, because your higher self knows that it's the time that you're supposed to bring that light out into the world. Your higher self knows that you're supposed to be diving into action. Now, I always use the threefold formula. It's alchemy is the power of three. Hecker codes, the offering, the mentorship that I work with, is there for the purpose to activate the threefold formula within you. Intention plus action equals creation, and that's what you're here to do. You're here to move through that process now, you know what I mean? So this is all about becoming, and when we block that and we try and, I don't know, distract us and do something else or tell us a story that's not true, it can come out of you in a multitude of ways. I mean, anxiety is one of them. Like I say, resentment, frustration is really, really big, especially with those that have got some big things inside of you and you're just too scared to step out and teach it or share it or express it. That's the word I'm looking for. We need to express these encodements now because they're important. There isn't anybody like you. There's nobody like me. So when we weave these frequencies together and we come together as one, we're not supposed to be doing this on our own anymore. And we let it flow. And essentially what I'm saying is we let the higher self lead. Okay. Then all of a sudden, all of this falls away and you become a much happier bunny. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like where we're at right now with the energy. And like a lot of you might be feeling right now, that anger. Woo, child. Let's talk about that anger. Well, I have been like a raging bull. I've been like Sekhmet on her period. Do you know what I mean? Like, sorry, Sekhmet, but that's the best way. Sekhmet on her moon. That's the best way to describe it. I have been raging. You so much as look at me the wrong way. And I don't care to own my shit, right? But it's been intense because that Leo moon came through with an absolute gumption, you know what I mean? And what's that Leo moon doing for all of us? It's getting that courage up, but we're annoyed and frustrated because we're really pissed off with people out there. But the truth of the matter is that we know deep down that we have to move. We know that we have to shift out of where we're at and we've got to be seen. And we're pissed off about that. It's a bit like waking a sleeping lion. Don't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? But it's the truth of the matter is we've got to move. And we're frustrated and we're angry because we're fighting it. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper with that to understand the psychology of what a real trigger can be like. What are the meanings? There's many, many different meanings of triggers. So for example, if somebody out there has triggered you in a really, really bad way and you've gone, look at them, they said this, they did this, it's really pissed me off. Basically, there's a reason that they have triggered you because it's triggered this inner energy within you that you have to now step into more light of yourself. Yes, there is an option. You have two options. You could go over there and throat punch them so hard that they choke on their saliva, which in my mind sometimes feels so nice. Sorry, forgive me. But you know what I'm saying? You could do that, absolutely. Or you could actually not dive into the hype and go, well, okay, so what is this distortion showing me? Let me just kind of go inward and find out where it's directing me to. And that person triggering you is mirroring back at you like, hey, you got to do something. You can't be sitting in this rage and this irritability and this resentment and blaming everybody else for it. You got to move. Move where? To your love vibration. That's it. You know what I mean? We're not leading. This new world is not leading any longer through fear mongering and basically power struggles and everything like that. It's leadership through love. Leadership through love. The Lyrans dropped that into my consciousness a few moons ago, and I remember I was just about to go into a cacao ceremony and I remember just writing my notes out and I just wrote in big letters, which was the Lyrans, leadership through love. And that's kind of where we're at, you know what I mean? So that's where we're moving away from into, okay? So I was talking a lot before about not the halls of amenity. It's on my list here. What was I talking about? Letting your higher self lead. I'm going to get to the halls just now. So letting your higher self lead. I mean, this is really going to be like a soothing balm just to let yourself move, fall back into, and just let go of actually all of this, right? Because you're not in control anymore. In fact, you actually weren't. You weren't in control of any of this. You thought you were. And that's just basically fighting with yourself. The truth of it all was your higher self has been sat on the timelines watching you. Just, okay, she's still doing that. All right, okay, yep, no, can't go in yet. No, she's still doing that. She's still fighting with herself, and watching, right? And now eventually you've gone, okay, I'm done. 2023 has now plunged you into 2024. And you're like, I'm a bit freaking tired, actually. I don't want to do this resistant thing anymore because it's not really getting me anywhere. Haven't quite achieved the results that I thought I was going to do. And maybe am I surrendering? Is this what surrender feels like? So your higher self starts to go, oh, they're moving. Okay, am I in? Is this my in? And then you go, okay, tapping out. So you tap out, and then in he or she steps, right? Beautiful thing. That is basically where we're at. I mean, really, if that's you forget all the spiritual books that you're reading and everything like that. Forget about it. That's it. That's all you need to know. Let your higher self lead. Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks for coming. Do you know what I mean? That's it. You know. So we just have to step out of our way and just trust that he or she's got everything under control. I mean, I'm on my way to America on Sunday, okay? Like, this is like Dora the Explorer and a little bit scared, but I'm excited at the same time. So I'm going to the Conscious Life Expo, which, by the way, is on the 9th to the 12th of February. I'm going to be exhibiting there. If you want to come and see me and chat and hang out. Also holding some ceremonies there on the 16th and 17th. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but I'm going to be there if you guys are in the vicinity, you know. And anyway, I'm getting on a plane. My point of sharing this with you is I'm getting on a plane. And you know what? I've climbed through some scary tombs and I've done some scary ass shit in my life. And I'm really, really scared about getting on a plane and going to a land I don't know anything about. I don't know anybody there, bar one friend, Ma. And I'm like, I don't even know how this is going to turn out. But you know what? Every time I tweak out and it rises to the surface and I want to create a story, I just say, it's okay. My higher self knows exactly what's going on. She was the one who organized the plans. Imagine yourself in a party, a tour party. Imagine you've gone to Egypt, say, and then basically Gladys, who's your best friend who likes to organize everything, has said, come on, girls, we're going to go to Egypt. I'm going to organize everything for you, but I'm kind of like the tour guide. You're going to just chill out at the back of the bus and just let her lead. She's going to say, go there, do this, whatever. You're not going to worry about a thing because Gladys, who's a bit of a control freak, but everybody loves Gladys, she's doing the thing. She's got your tickets to all the entrances and all that kind of stuff. You know that Gladys has got this, right? So now what do? You just chill out and you just enjoy the journey. Liken that scenario to letting your higher self lead. And if you have to, think of your higher self as a separate being to you. We know he or she's not separate. It's one of the same. But all of these scenarios, I'm a very mental kind of vision kind of person. It helps me chill the F out and let my higher self lead by visualizing her stepping forward because she's got this. She knows everything. You know what I mean? She did in the beginning. I was just in denial. You know what I mean? So that is where we're at. Now, let's talk a little bit about let's talk a little bit about this new Earth timeline thing. You know, we all get wrapped up in kind of like the names and things like that. The new Earth timeline, you know, what does that mean basically? You know, it basically means 5D consciousness. I mean, ultimately, that's the full download of it. And it basically means heart living, not living in the mind. And if we're living in the heart, zero fear, just expansiveness, limitless. If we're living in the head, okay, then that is limited. Everything's scary, going to go nowhere. You haven't got this. You haven't done enough, and etc., etc., etc. Lack. So that's what's happening. The consciousness now is slipping into the new Earth timeline very rapidly. And that's the golden age of Aquarius. Now, it has been said, okay, this is why it's rather exciting. By 2032, within the next 8 years, it has been said that Gaia will have fully ascended. Our job now is to help Gaia ascend. Now, this is the cool thing. Now, apparently, back in the Atlantis, back then, the world, Earth, was in 3D consciousness. We were in 5D. This time round, the Earth Gaia will be in 5D consciousness, will be in 5D. So that's going to be so much more powerful. So if we were flying around on our magic discs and kind of like, slip into the shops on our dragon, I mean, what is going to happen in this new Earth timeline? And that works out that it's fully downloadable in 8 years' time. That's our lifetime, guys. That's our lifetime. So believe the hype. Believe there's some crazy ass shit going on inside of you. Believe that worlds are shifting from one to the other. Believe the pain, the snot, the tears, the dark night of the soul is leading you somewhere. You've got to have belief, y'all, because without belief, you got nothing. And grounding as well. You need grounding, you know? So it's like that's where we're at. So we are now moving into a very, very powerful year. In fact, going into the microcycles now. From now until about May, we are going through a massive pocket. It's almost like a shooting tunnel. We're getting fast tracked. You know what I mean? Super fast tracked. So there's going to be much transformation upon us. Now, how you roll through that is how willing you are to let your higher self lead. How willing, like how smooth that will be is how much work you have done or left till this now moment. Now, there is no judgment. When people turn around and said, oh, you know, she's struggling right now. He's struggling right now. He hasn't done the work. Yeah, he hasn't done the work. That's ego and that's a judgment, right? And quite frankly, those that are struggling right now and really in it are the clever ones, cleverer than me. I started doing this like eons ago and I just took painstaking nosebleed after nosebleed. How many nosebleeds and deaths can one have? And I stretched mine over 20 years. Do you know what I mean? So now a lot of people are leaving their awakening until like that whole plaster rip-off thing. They've left it to now. Why? Because the energy is so flipping high and it's so rapid and so high frequency that I would much rather have done all of those years in the space of 6 months. Way better. Look, I'm a hill sprint kind of guy. I'm a hill sprint kind of chick. Do you know what I mean? I don't like long endurance runs. So I don't know why I did that. But what I'm saying is like those guys that have left it now and they're in the thick of it. Brilliant. You know what I mean? Absolutely brilliant. Genius, in fact, you know? So no judgment on where you're at or why. It is so strategically put together by you in the stars. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. Nothing has passed you by. There's no such thing as missed opportunities. We're all going to arrive at the same place together. And your process is very important for what I'm doing. My process is very important for what the next person is doing. So don't doubt at all that you are not in the right place or whatever. Everything is exactly as it should be. Your higher self knows exactly what's up and all is well in the world. Okay, so let's take a breath on that, right? So now, as I said, the three-way formula for Hecker codes, okay? So the Hecker codes, just FYI, I only take on about 3, max 4 one-on-one mentorships for the Hecker codes. And those spots will be opening up when I get back from the States, which is the kind of like middle to end of February. So I'll be giving you a heads up on that because like I say, my spaces are limited at that for the one-on-ones. However, there is a group Hecker codes, which are like awesome fun, very, very powerful. And you get to meet loads of other people, like what I call the New Earth Architects. I'm going to be opening up that round about the 7th of March. So I will, again, give you a heads up for that. For those of you that are coming to the expo and watching here, of course, I'm going to post it on here. You can, by all means, use my little vouchers I've put together, which gives you $100 off just because Dora the Explorer is doing the expo. Okay. But anyway, details later. So the Hecker codes works on this magic formula, and this is how it goes, right? Sia, Hugh, and Hecker. Sia is the god of perception. You need to have a intention, a vision to know where you're going. Without an intention, you're just floating all over the place. I call it the fireman's hose, where you're just spraying energy all over the place like a My Little Pony. Ain't going anywhere. It's just bloody magic stars everywhere. It's very pretty to watch, but you're absolutely knackered, and it's not basically going anywhere, but it's beautiful rainbows. We want to get a bit more channel with that, and we want to get you to the church on time. We want to get you to where you need to get to go, need to be, because we've got to build this new earth together, right? So Sia is the god of perception. So we get really, really crystal clear on what you are visualizing. Second stage we move into is Hugh. I've spoken about this before. Hugh, man, or Hugh, woman. Hugh, divine. Man, physical. Okay, so this is about bringing the divine into the physical. Okay, Hugh is the utterance, spoken word. In the beginning, there was the word. That's creation, right? So this is about creating your runway coming in to land, right? And then we move into Hecker. Hecker is the god of magic and medicine, and he is the ultimate force, even higher than the gods and goddesses. He doesn't even have parents. Apparently, he was just there. He was just there from the beginning of time because he's the highest force and energy you can connect with, even beyond the Egyptian Neteru. In fact, when you used to put your orders in with the Egyptian Neteru, they used to go, hang on a minute, please, can I just put you on hold? Hecker, can you kind of like grant me this power? Because somebody's asking for a new cow. They're asking for a harvest, a really good harvest. Can you grant me that, please? And they would have to go, they would take them off hold and grant them their wishes. That's a very modern way of describing how the Egyptian Neteru work. But that's how it was. So Hecker is the cataclysmic kaboom manifestation in physical form. Now, what is that? Intention, vision, plus action, Start to build your runway, come into land. That's always the hardest part for a starseed. And then creation. Oh, look, I manifested it. On to the next. Rinse and repeat. Once you have remembered these sacred codes within you, this ancient formula of creating, which you never forgot, by the way, it's right in there, right in there. Just got to access it. You know, once you get that, you start applying it to everything. You know what I mean? Absolutely everything. Even like on a weekend away with people you're not sure about. You're like, vision's great. Yeah, going to Ibiza could be a good one. You know, and then you land into the second stage, coming to land. Oh, I don't know. I don't know whether I want to go and share a physical room with that person because they're a bit annoying. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can actually see where the blockages are. You know what I mean? And it's just like, and you can place it on road trips. You can place it on business creations, business beings of light. Anything you want, because Heka is all around us and we're living in magical moments all the time. This isn't just about building temples. It's about just living a very, very happy, prosperous life. Because ultimately, what does success mean? Success means joy. So we're here to have a good time. You know what I mean? Not a horrible time. So this is why Heka is so important for us right now. So with that being said, okay, we are now moving into the Sphinx. Because I've been talking ever such a lot about the Sphinx. You know, the Sphinx, I mean, like, that's our first private visit on the tour. Most people start there anyway, because, like, quite frankly, the Sphinx is the biggest Stargate portal on the earth. I mean, like, we know it's got a human head, but we all knew it was a lion's head before that, just saying. And it's like the pyramids, like, they were built way before Egypt per se, and nobody's really pinpointed. We'll never really know, but those of you that hold certain consciousness in that, I kind of know where it's at, and that fits with me, and you probably do as well. But we know that it's not what the history books are telling us, right? But the Akashic records and the halls of Amenti, if you go through the Great Sphinx and the Great Pyramid, they're basically connected. There's tunnels that basically run underneath the Great Sphinx and the Great Pyramid. I mean, there's tunnels and doorways in those places that, like, yeah, maybe we'll never know about. Maybe we will. Who knows? But it's a massive, massive, massive portal. And the Sphinx is an earth altar. So we get to kind of like go there and lay things into dormancy and activate things as we would wish to work with them. So what is that speaking? That's the Akashic records. You want to go into the library because you're done with this book, because you read it back to front 5 million times. You're done with it. That's your life. Put it on the shelf. Thank you very much. That's in for submission. Give me another book because I want a new one and I want a new cycle. So that's the same as the earth altar, laying things into dormancy, done with the book, activating a new one. Please, can I take that book out? That looks rather interesting. So that's kind of like how the Akashics works, entering into the Great Sphinx. Now, also underneath the Great Sphinx is the halls of Amenti. And we don't really talk about this enough because the halls are very sort of ambiguous to find out about. It's not an awful lot of direct information about that. Everybody kind of knows what it is, but can't explain it. You know what I mean? If you ask anybody, but we know in our consciousness, if you know what I mean. The way I explain the halls of Amenti, it's basically a labyrinth. Okay. The 7 lords of Amenti can also be likened to the chakras as well. It's ascension. If you speak about Inanna and Osiris, the 7 gates of Osiris, it's going into the underworld to be able to ascend to meet Osiris at the end. So it's kind of like the gauntlet. I mean, the 7 gates of Osiris is kind of like the gauntlet you run after you've passed on. But in a way, that halls of Amenti is the gauntlet that we run on our souls. It's our soul running. So the best way to describe that is kind of like a labyrinth where it's like snakes and ladders. So our lives, okay, you'll start at the beginning. So you basically roll your dice and you're like, awesome. So you go and jump along 5 steps and then you go up the ladders and you're like, great, I'm on the 2nd level. Happy days. And then you roll the dice a bit and then something else happens in your life and you're like, this is a winner. I've worked this out. I've passed the test. You go up again. And then you hit some shadow in your life because you signed up for it. And that little pocket in that part, the halls of Amenti on the game board, you hit this pocket and you're like, whoa, this is really intense. And then you get thrown into the darkness and you slide all the way down the snake to the bottom in the beginning again. And you've got to figure it out. But you go up, you go down, you go up, 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 and then you go down. Then you go left a bit, then you go right a bit until such time you complete the halls of Amenti. Now, usually that's when you die, you leave, and you come back to finish what was left unsaid and undone, which is us coming back karma again and again and again, figuring out the halls of Amenti, right? Gaining mastery on the life, the physical incarnation. So to date, we've come back and we've come back and we've come back, right? Like now we get to do this. We get to ascend in our physical bodies without dying. How cool is that? So what does that look like? We complete the labyrinth, we complete all the tests, the halls of Amenti, and then we get to the end and we go, well, I haven't died, I haven't dropped the body. Okay, let me go back to the beginning because there's a whole bunch of people waiting for the coordinates that I can assist and help and guide them through them. And that's where we become teachers. We get bringers of the way, showers. You know what I mean? That's how we step into our teacher role, just by leading by example. And by that, I mean, we walk through the halls of Amenti and they just step in the same footprints as we do. And we teach them along the way. And then they go back to the beginning. And there's even more people waiting at the beginning. And before you know it, New Earth is upon us. See where I'm going with this now? So that's the halls of Amenti, which sits underneath the Sphinx. Now, the keeper of the halls of Amenti is indeed Anubis. He's one of my favorites. And yeah, he's actually from Atlantis, as is Thoth. And of course, you know, he's very powerful. Doesn't say an awful lot, but he's the keeper of that. You know what I mean? So when you're going through the halls of Amenti, it's basically a 3-stage process. You're actually going through, first of all, the physical, which is, oh, I'm a body. Okay, nothing much going on here. Then I die, and then that's it. Second stage is the metaphysical. Oh, I'm a body, but there's way more than just being a physical body. There's energy. And you start to get the idea that things are more than the physical. Then the third stage is the mastery. So that is basically what the halls of Amenti is. It's the path that we walk, okay, stage by stage by stage to master this, right? And when we want to connect with those in the halls of Amenti, that is where we go and meet with the masters. That is where we go and meet with the masters. Now, the Akashic records, which is also found underneath the Sphinx, is a little bit different because the Akashic records are your soul journeys. It's all to do with your soul. Okay. So anything you want to know about what's been, what's going on, like even what I'm talking about now is being jotted down in a record somewhere. You know what I mean? Even you watching this now being jotted down. Oh, she watched Marie's life. Do you know what I mean? So it's about your soul records. Okay. So you can go via Thoth and you can go to the records through the Sphinx. And you can go and ask, okay, well, I would like to submit this book because I'm pretty much done. That's fine. Put it in. And then he can show you the next stage of your life. And you can say, well, that's cool. I've got this far because I've been doing X, Y, and Z. What can I do better? And they'll go, well, I think it's about time we start to send you this person and that person to help you with your mission. And you're like, okay, great. Good talk. And away you go. So the Sphinx is that's the conversation you have with the Sphinx, because you're essentially talking with the libraries, which kind of can give you access to that kind of information. So when we access the Sphinx, when we are in the tablets of light, or we get to do this in real time, you know, we watch the sun rises upon us or behind us. So imagine you facing the great Sphinx and you've got the big tablet here. Okay. You guys all sit there and you're actually facing me. I've got Cairo behind me and the sun is rising behind me, but it is coming up and it is loud, casting its sun rays. Ra is just blasting its sun codes on you as you go through this meditation activation. And I take you into the halls, into the Akashic records through the pores. This is where we start, because we're going back to that intention where you get to go into the records and say, right, my intention for this Tablets of Light tour, or my life in general, why I'm here, is X, Y, and Z. So it's such an important private visit that is, and such an important meditation to have if you're going to do it ceremonially through the ethers as well. So you are like, you know, you are basically setting the tone. You're putting the place, you know, placing your stuff down on the altar, and you're saying, this is how it is. So the Sphinx is a very, very, very key in your shamanic journey. Let's put it like that. You know what I mean? So now, what they are, I've explained. How do you read them? Well, this is quite a good question, because now I'm going to go to my questions, which basically somebody asked me. All right. And I'm going to answer that now. The question was, can anyone read the Akashics? Now, I'm going to give you the gospel according to Marie, because there's many teachers that will say, well, you have to go through training and there's a certain prayer you have to say to access the Akashics. And there is truth, legit, like, you know, a very, very special way, sacred way to enter into the Akashics, you know, and I personally, like, I honor that and I respect that fully. And I know that there's some big work that you can do with, there's some really big teachers out there that do it that way, and haven't done them myself personally, because I'm an advocate of basically doing it yourself, because we're all sentient beings at the end of the day in physical form. So never doubt what you can do on your own. Okay. Now, the way I see the Akashic records is everything that gives you a message is an Akashic record. So for example, if a leaf fell down in front of you, you basically look at that and go, oh, wow, that gave me a message of X, Y, and Z. It's a message from spirit. It's a message from the tree. You know what I mean? And if it sparked a message and something came through, that's reading the Akashics. Turning over an oracle card, that's reading the Akashics. You know, going into a meditation and journeying into the Sphinx, asking Thoth for your divine permission to step in, him giving you access to the wonderful library of you, and then in your mind's eye, closing your eyes and seeing, right, okay, this is what's going to go on here. This is the book that I want to read from, and just going with your own guidance. That is an Akashic. That is Akashic journey. That is reading the Akashics, and you'll be shown all sorts of things. And guess what? We're going to do it on here today, so you can give that a go. So I do believe that there is some very, very, very deep work that you can do with the properly trained, I think it's, I can't remember the Akashic reader's name now, but anyway, we all know that there's like some fantastic books out there to do that. And if that is your calling, then go for it. But when we just want to retrieve information and access even information, I do it all the way through the temples. I put my hands on the hieroglyphs, I get a download. Do you know what I mean? I put my hands on this, I get a twitch, and I start to like bring through something. Do you know what I mean? I put my hands on certain things in Egypt, and I'll go to sleep at lunchtime, and it will come through. It's the Akashics, you know? So there are many, many different ways of reading it, and you may feel that one is better for you than the other. And I trust that. You know what I mean? Trust that. So that is what we're going to do today. And I'm going to ask you now, okay? In fact, before I do that, because what I'm actually going to say is the meditation we're going to do today is working with the Sphinx. Like in light of the fact that this whole January into February, the whole year forward is all about new earth timelines and all this kind of stuff. You know, what I'm going to, sweating in here. Sorry, it's really hot in here today. Shouldn't check my mascara. That's what you do on lives, right? So in light of the fact that, you know, we're coming into this brand new earth timeline, right? We want to know what's your next step. We don't want to know the bigger picture of where we're going and all this kind of. Ask spirit, what is my next logical step? And we're going to go into the Sphinx, and we're going to go into the Akashics, and we're going to go meet Thoth, and we're going to ask him, what is the next logical step for you? And then you can see and feel and sense what that feels like to you, and do a little bit of journaling at the end. You know what I mean? Because it's all about vision. It's all about Sia, the god of Heka. It's all about getting that perception right, and then just seeing which way you're going, right? So before I do that, I just want to, talking about vision, just want to answer one more question that that was asked. Okay, my ideas on Wadjet and Horus, because Horus is all about, he's all about vision. You know, he's a hawk. He's a visionary. You know what I mean? He's a shapeshifter as well. He's the god of the sky. You know what I mean? And Wadjet is basically the goddess which basically sits here on and protects the third eye. So she will she'll protect your psychic vision, basically. You know, so Wadjet is very, very powerful right now. The serpent energy is really coming through us because everybody's Kundalini awakening. So with Horus as well, Horus also balances your left and right eye. He basically creates this triangle here. Okay, because third eye, obviously, because this is all about the Great Sphinx is all about the third eye chakra. That is exactly what the Sphinx is connected to. And then we've got Horus, who is obviously vision, okay, and he's also about leading and all the rest of it. You know, got to have if you're going to lead, you need to have a vision. And then the left eye is Luna, and the right eye is Ra, the sun. So this balance of feminine left and Ra, masculine, the right, and then here. This is what we're talking about here. This needs to be balanced. It needs to be like perfectly intact. So if you think about that, okay, that pyramid there, okay, and then you think about Wadjet sat there who spits in the eyes of the enemies to protect your psychic vision. I mean, like, you're a receiver and transmitter. Now that's moving into Great Pyramid stuff right there. But this is really, really, really important. You know what I mean? So Horus, the protector, the leader, third eye, Sphinx, the third eye, vision, 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 vision. We all have that psychic capacity, and we all have the ability to receive those messages and see exactly where we are going. Okay. And remember, just throwing it in there, last thing with Wadjet, she is all about transformation because she's the snake. Okay. So it's all about transformation, and we're going through mass transformational stages at the moment, you know, so let go, let God, right? So now I want you to just settle a bit. Marie's going to pause a little bit for some water here because it's very hot here in Africa at the moment. We've got a massive heat wave going on. Like, Africa needs help. I mean, gosh, even my knees are sweating. But anyway, whatever. So let me just take a sip. So what we're going to do now, and grab your pen, sit with it, just have an idea. You don't have to journal, but I'm just suggesting it. So in light of the fact that you've made it this far, You have not come here to do nothing, right? We are all spiritual seekers. But we need to seek no more, because you're not looking for anything, because the one you seek is you. The twin flame union is you. So as we walk as oneness in oneness together, we will start to understand that there was nothing ever lost. You never left the place. You were always here. However, we are living a human physical incarnation, and we do wish to shed the load, step into the new. And what is required for you to step away from the old timeline into the new one? One must forgive everything and everyone. I says it. One can only move into the new earth timeline if you love and forgive everything that has come to pass. So forgiveness and releasing of fear. There cannot be any fear in the new earth timeline. So instead of sitting here and making your work very difficult and thinking about that person and this person and that thing that wronged me and everything like that, I invite you to expand into a bigger picture here. So I want you to feel into your being now, starseed incarnate. Let go of the mind chatter. Connect with yourself in the way that you are a starseed walking on earth. You have come here with some very powerful encodements. It matters not whether you, in your logical mind, know that. You have, period. So you now are here, you've made it this far, and you have agreed to step onto this new earth timeline, to step into the golden age of Aquarius, because you fought tooth and nail to have this opportunity to incarnate onto Gaia. You are here, and you are in this age, physical age, where you can enjoy it, where you are so much into your wisdom codes. You're not a young child. You know exactly what's going on. You've got enough path underneath you, and you came here to blossom like a beautiful flower, lotus flower, to share your encodements at the right time. And the time has not been right until now. Divine timing, and the timing is in the divine. So it is about taking the tentative steps, knowing which foot to put forward first. Understanding and knowing that everything will get taken care of, but you do understand and know that forgiveness and letting go of fear is what is going to be required of you to step into new earth timeline, to be fully realized in union. So now feel the energy of your higher self. Feel the being as he or she steps out of you right now. And for a moment or two, experience the visual of them stood in front of you, so you may gain the concept in your mind that this is you, and this is the one that knows exactly what's to do. But you are the powerful one, for you're the only one beyond all the gods and goddesses, guides, higher self, because you're the only one that can put anything into physical form. You are the only one that can stroke an animal, eat food and taste it, experience love, experience heartbreak. You're the only one that can actually bring a divine plan into physical form. This is why you came, for such a gift in this time where Gaia is purging the old, and you're part of that movement. How exciting. So now she invites you, as does the cosmos, as does it all, to step into the new earth way and then now visualize what has come to pass. Everything, feel the energy, sense it behind you. You might get tinkles down your back. Feel what has come to pass. It does not concern you any longer. You don't want to go back there, or do you? If you do, you need to look at that, but you don't want to go back there. And now you feel a sensation of so much golden light and lightness as you can feel the energy of your higher self that steps in front of you. One signifies the old, and they signify the new. And all it takes is for you to go and join them now is one step. One step will re-merge you with that light body being. Just one step. So now, think of it as a timeline past. Are you ready to forgive everything and everyone that's come to pass? Even yourself. Let all the fear, because forgiveness and fear is actually an illusion of the old timeline. but it's still real at the time, is it not? Feel it. And now, as you feel the beckoning call, you can feel your heart energy being pulled towards your higher self now. It's like you can't be separated from this. And they're going, come on. Just like you coax a little toddler off the side of the pool going, jump into my arms. I got you. You've even got water wings on and a rubber ring. I got you. And you stammer and you stammer and stammer. And then suddenly you step forward and you fall into the arms of your higher self and you just expand. And suddenly there is a massive release. There is no darkness behind you. You look around 360 degrees. It's done. It's gone. Merged back with your higher self. They've got you. They always did. So now we call in Archangel Michael to cut away any threads from behind you now with his very, very powerful sword of truth, cutting any cords, releasing them, letting them go, and then feeling all of the energy surge behind your being. And now the light and the gold spins around you. You expand it from your higher self inside and out, as above, so below. And you feel yourself as a golden, expanded being. And now I call for you to stand in your mind's eye between the paws of the Sphinx. Take a moment now to adjust to this timeline. You feel the energy shift and change somewhat from a few moments ago. As you have jumped several timelines and you are in the ancient times as an ancient one. Feel your body and your being glowing. So now you are not just a golden being. You start to take form a little. What do you look like? What are you wearing? You look down at your toes and you wiggle your toes. Connect with the sand beneath your feet. You look up at the night sky, the cosmos above you. And you feel the power of this golden being. It is not so much stone now. It's like it's made out of cool, pure gold frequency. And you're standing before the Sphinx. And there is a very powerful connection between the two of you, for you are old friends. Very old friends. So now start to breathe into your heart, breathing in and breathing out. And as you do so, you start to draw the energy up as if you are conjuring the energy, for you are a master magician, a magi. Inhale. And as you exhale, you send your energy out as if it was an offering, as above, so below, drawing the energy from the cosmos, from the earth into the heart. And as you exhale, you become brighter. You're sending all of this energy out to the Sphinx, out to the stars, out to the whole Giza Plateau, and you are illuminating this whole place. Everything comes alive. And you feel this activation in your heart and your high heart. And you place your hands on your solar plexus. Well, this is your center of will. This is also where your lion energy sits, for this is where Sekhmet sits in the solar plexus. And now you walk up to the chest of the Sphinx. You gently rest your forehead and your hands on this beautiful tablet. And you start to breathe in and breathe out. Continue with that breath. And as you do so, you start to bring through some light language, speaking, chanting, singing. For it is sound and music that activates, unlocks portals. It is sound and frequency, which are the hidden scrolls in all temples. This is how we unlock them. No longer are they written on ancient papyri. It comes through unlocking frequencies through sound. So sing, chant. And as you do so, you find yourself entering into the Sphinx. There is sudden golden energy all around you, mixed with beautiful emerald energy. And before you know it, here you stand before Thoth, the god of wisdom and alchemy. And you are just a shimmer in golden and emerald light. You bow your head to this being. And you are, again, very well acquainted. And you ask him, Thoth, O master, my beautiful guide, because he's always there for you. I stand here, 2024, in the moment of absolute transformation here on Gaia. And I have come here with a special mission, and I am calling on thee to assist me in guidance, to know where I go to next. For I am ready to close on old timelines. I am ready to release all of the dimensions, all of the timelines that no longer serve me. But to do so, I need to be granted with my new book. He can sense and feel that you have already let go of the past and old timelines. He then speaks to you that, dear heart, I have been waiting for you for a very long time. This is the beginning. Know this, that yes, I will grant you your book. You will be bestowed with knowledge and wisdom. Some you will be conscious of, some not so much. But it will be placed into your being for you to access it at the right time. You are indeed a keeper of the tablet of light, and you have come here to do and bid my work. For we have been family for a very, very long time. Know that in future, timelines will come, and there will be brand new sacred sites revealing themselves. Some may be known, some not so much. But these portals, these places will be activated by you, for you are the one that knows. So you have a very sacred mission indeed. But for me to paint the future, this is what you have come here for, to unlock, activate, but know that you are always safe. And with that, he starts to walk down a corridor, and you start to walk past shelving after shelving after shelving after shelving. There are so many books in here. And then suddenly he walks to a door, and he looks behind, and he says, are you ready, dear heart? Are you ready for this book? He said, but it is not a book. This is something very special for you. And with that, he opens the door, and you walk into a huge golden chamber. Sacred language written all over the walls, vibrating, activating, even the brushing your fingers on it sparks activations. This is like we're moved into a different timeline again. And in the center of this room, there is a glowing tablet of light. It is green. It is made of the actual substance that they formed this with in Atlantis, imperishable, unbreakable, and it is yours, beloved. For this is much like the crystal skulls which have laid undiscovered messages, energetic messages. And this is what these are. This is what this is. And as you walk closer to this tablet of light, it starts to activate because it knows who you are. And he said, do not be mistaken, dear heart. This is encoded specifically to you, no other. And when you take on this tablet of light, one must be ready. So I ask you, dear heart, and he pulls you back. Before you connect with this tablet of light, before it is time, are you ready? Are you committed? Do you give your sacred yes? And are you prepared to make the changes that this embodiment of this tablet will call you to do? So you take a moment to process this. For this is something. Are you ready to change? Are you ready to courageously move into whatever comes up now? For the only way magic can be created is through risk. This is the only way. And in your being, you're like, well, I'm not living like I have been now. I am done with this, and I am ready to step in and step up. And as you say that to yourself, you feel Sekhmet stand up behind you, and she starts roaring, for she is courage, she is fire, she is alchemy, she is protection, all of the rest of it. You feel Anubis step in, who's the biggest protector god like ever. You know, you have all of these guides around you, protecting you. Hathor stands there, bestowing you in love. There are so many of your guides. Some you know, some you don't. And with that sacred yes, they are all here. And you look at Thoth and you bow your head and you say, oh, Master, I give my permission now. It is a sacred yes. And with that, you step forward and you place both hands on this tablet. There is a sudden activation through your hand chakras, which surges the energy all the way through your arms into your heart space. And you feel a full activation of your green heart, high heart, third eye, soul star. All of a sudden, those chakras really come online. And you feel your body vibrating with this green energy all the way through you. You pick up this tablet of light. You start to feel flashes. Your eyes are closed, but your eyelids are flickering, and you feel so many things moving through you, so many messages. But don't try to hold on to any of them. Do not run this through your physical mind. This is an energetic thing. And you hold this tablet of light and you allow it to just make its way into your being. Thoth is now placing his hand on the back of your heart to assist you in grounding this. And then you hold it into your heart, and there is a further expansion. And then, on the count of 3, inhale. As you exhale, you breathe out and you embody this whole tablet of light, and it goes into every cell like electricity going through your cells, through your muscles, through your knee joints, everything. Just breathe it out and let this electricity activation, tablet of light embodiment move into every part of you. You may feel certain parts of you tingling. You may feel heat. You may feel nothing at all, but know that it is done. You have embodied the wisdom that will enable you to take the next step. Start to allow the energy to move where it needs to move. You may feel that it goes to certain places. Like, I can feel this coming into my ears as I'm really starting to hear my channel a lot clearer lately. You might find it's going into your throat. What do you need to speak? You might find it going into other places which mean different things. Trust it. And as the energy all starts to calm down a little now, hands are very fiery hot. You place those hands on your being now, just to run the energy a little bit more. And as you turn to Thoth, you bow your head. You are humbled, you are honored. And he just stands there and he just nods his head. There are no words. There are no words. And he says to you now, you have never given up. You have walked the timelines. You never, ever gave up. You are so acknowledged on your soul path. You're acknowledged for your light. You're acknowledged for your perseverance. You're acknowledged for your courage, even though at times you felt yourself to be very fearful. But you never gave up. It is time for you to recognize the truth of who you really are and what we see. Only you can do that. That is very much within your power. And with that, he steps away and starts to drift into the golden energy, as does this whole scene now. You find yourself once more transported and stood between the paws of the Sphinx, and you are looking right up at the Sphinx. And there is a very bright star twinkling on the silhouette of the Sphinx's head, and it's Sirius, the star of Isis, the white lions. And you can feel this starlight love just giving you some soothing as you feel this crystalline energy just being poured down upon your energy field. It's almost like you can hear this Sphinx purr, and you can feel the paws around you, and it's like you feel so comforted. So comforted. Because everything is going to be all right. Because I chose it to be so. So you give your divine blessings and your deepest gratitude to the Sphinx, to Thoth, to all of the beings that showed up for you today, including yourself. So now start to take some deep breaths, and coming back into your energy field, just take your time and breathe all the way into your physical body. But what I want you to do is I want you to take your energy as you bring these breaths in and start to run that energy into your Earth Star chakra. So running it into your feet, running it into the Earth Star chakra in the earth, and feeling it like a paperweight pulling you down a little bit and anchoring you, and make sure you're fully back in this space before you can open your eyes. I'm so sorry. I've just seen all your messages now. I'm like, look, it's my first time on a live. So yes, I'm just kind of like seeing everybody now. I'm so glad you like the meditations, and Andrea and all my team. Like, I love it, love it, love it, love it. So yeah, I'll get used to this. This is a whole thing. So now, oh, I got goosebumps, you guys. So now we're just going to pull these cards, and I'll share with you what deck I use. I have actually shared this one before, but I do love it. I do love it. So the deck I'm using is Carl Gray, okay, because it's got a bit of everything in here, okay, and the cards that I pulled out. Okay, yeah, I can't write this shit, okay. Akashic Records, funny, not funny, okay. Clearing old stories, releasing past lives, freedom. Now, Uranus, that's a new thing now. Uranus went direct on the 27th, and that's about freedom and liberation. So that's definitely, yeah, and obviously Akashic Records. Sirius, star blessings. Yes, proceed. Be seen. Push through. I didn't pick these cards, I promise. And then Shambhala, initiations, retreating to recharge, trusting in the process, Dharma. Okay, and now what we want to pick now, which is the power of surrender cards, okay, because we just did what we did, which was big, okay. So the power of surrender cards, what you got for us? What do we need to surrender? Okay, surrender to wonder and awe, open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy and flow. Now, this card, sorry, it's a mirror kind of thing we have to do here. This card, think about that. Surrender to wonder and awe. Okay, I want to read that again. Open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. We don't want to do any more healing anymore. It's going to sound crazy what I'm saying, but like, enough with it now already. Because if we wake up and go, right, well, I want to go and focus on my lack of abundance, and I'm going to go to a healer, and I'm going to really focus on what those blocks could possibly be, right? So what you're actually doing is you're making your point of attention about the lack of abundance, because you're picking it apart and trying to understand why you are in this current situation. That worked before. Yes, it did. It absolutely did, because I've done tons of healing work like that, as we all have. But can you feel in your being that it's not really, okay, are we still doing that now? No, we're not doing that now. What we need to do now is basically focus on the highest timeline, on your brilliance, that everything is working out for you. My new mantra the other day, what was it? I'm not enough. That wasn't my mantra, by the way, is what I realized. I'm not enough. And I haven't done enough, because I can never get away from my computer working, because I never think I've done enough. Failed missions, right? And I was like, no, hang on a minute. I am enough. And I always say to myself, you've done enough, Marie. You're good. Do you know how much comfort that gives me just by saying those words over and over and over again? So quite frankly, where we are now, when this old shit comes in, you just turn around and tell it to F off. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the golden Sphinx and how wonderful everything is going to be. My tablet of light I've just embodied, because I mean, like, nothing's going to go wrong, because I've just realized that was horseshit and it was absolute illusion. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm good to go, but I'm just going to keep my attention up here with groovy people, groovy places, and groovy situations. My mantra for 2024 is I want to do magical things with magical people in magical places, and that ain't changed. Here you are. Thank you. You are my manifestation. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, we just have to get to the point where choose. Are you going to do that? Or are you going to do that? It's exactly the same as having somebody who's really not very nice come to your house again. Are you going to spend time with them? Or are you just going to say, please don't come around here. I'm going to have tea with somebody who's much nicer, and it just feels better. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. So check yourself in every moment, choose, decide where you want to put your point of focus, and stay with that. And that is, everything is okay. What now? Nothing's going wrong here. Absolutely nothing's wrong. Why? Because basically everything always works out for you. That is Heka, dear. That is Heka, you know? So thank you for joining the live. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, messages in the post message or whatever. Messages. I don't even get the lingo right. Post your comments there, whatever. You get the gist. But thank you for coming and hanging out with me. This is a lot of fun. And I actually think I might actually move to 2 lives a week. So bring the questions, bring the chit chat and all the rest of it. Otherwise, I'll just be banging on about whatever I want to be banging on about. But yeah, bring the questions before or during. And thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you on the channel. And so many blessings to you. I'm seeing you all sending me hearts. Mwah, mwah, and mwah. Lots of love from me in Africa. Thanks, guys. Bye.